Section 1. The point of departure of the laying of the foundation of metaphysics. The explication of the idea of a fundamental ontology through the interpretation of the Critique of Pure Reason as a laying of the foundation of metaphysics. Section 1. The point of departure of the laying of the foundation of metaphysics. The exposition of the way in which Kant conceived the point of departure for the laying of the foundation of metaphysics is equivalent to answering the question, why, for Kant, does the laying of a foundation of metaphysics take the form of a critique of pure reason? The answer must be forthcoming through a discussion of the following three questions. 1. What concept of metaphysics did Kant inherit? 2. What is the point of departure for the laying of the foundation of this traditional metaphysics? 3. Why is this laying of the foundation a critique of pure reason? Subsection 1. The traditional concept of metaphysics. The horizon within which metaphysics appeared to Kant and within which his laying of the foundation had to begin may be characterized schematically by means of Baumgarten's definition. Metaphysica est scientia prima cognitionis humanae principia continens. Metaphysics is the science that contains the first principles of human knowledge. Baumgarten, Metaphysics, 1743. In the concept of the first principles of human knowledge lies a peculiar and, to begin with, a necessary ambiguity. The motives and the history of the development and stabilization of this school concept of metaphysics cannot be presented here. However, a brief indication of what is presented therein should serve to break up the problematic content of this concept, and thus prepare the way for an understanding of the basic significance of the Kantian point of departure of the laying of the foundation of metaphysics. It is well known that the meaning of the expression meta ta physica, as the collective name for those treatises of Aristotle which were classified as following those belonging to the physics, which was at first purely descriptive, later came to express a philosophical judgment concerning the content of these works. This change in meaning does not have the harmlessness which is attributed to it. Rather, it has forced the interpretation of these treatises in a particular direction, and thereby has determined that what Aristotle discusses therein is to be understood as metaphysics. Nevertheless, whether that which is contained in Aristotle's metaphysics is metaphysics must be doubted. However, Kant himself still attempts directly to attribute a real meaning to the expression. With reference to that to which the name metaphysics refers, it is unbelievable that it arose by chance, since it corresponds so exactly to the content of the science, since physis means nature, and since we can arrive at the concept of nature only through experience, that science which follows it is called metaphysics, from meta, trans, and physica. It is a science which, being outside the domain of physics, as it were, lies beyond it. The classificatory expression which occasioned this particular interpretation of Aristotle's writings itself arose from a difficulty concerning the comprehension of the treatises thus classified in the Corpus Aristotelicum. In the philosophy of the schools, logic, physics, ethics, which followed Aristotle, no discipline or framework could be found into which could be fitted what Aristotle pursued as prote philosophia, true philosophy, philosophy of the first rank. Meta te physica is thus the title of a basic philosophical difficulty. This difficulty has its origin in the obscurity which envelops the essentials of the problems and ideas discussed in the treatises. Insofar as Aristotle expresses himself on the subject, it is evident that there is a curious ambiguity in the definition of first philosophy. It is knowledge of the ascent, des Seienden, qua essent on eon, as well as knowledge of the highest sphere of essence, timiotaton genos, through which the ascent in totality is defined. This dual characterization of prote philosophia does not contain two radically different trains of thought, nor should one be weakened or rejected outright in favor of the other. Furthermore, we should not be over-hasty in reconciling this apparent duality. Rather, through an analysis of the problem of first philosophy, we must throw light upon the reason behind this duality, and the manner in which both determinations are connected. The task is all the more pressing in that the ambiguity mentioned did not first make its appearance with Aristotle, but has dominated the problem of being since the first beginnings of ancient philosophy. In order to keep this problem of the essential determination of metaphysics in view, it can be said by way of anticipation that metaphysics is the fundamental knowledge of the ascent as such and in totality.